is on a volatile pick up against Pele, so that pressure could quickly turn on its head if it's Ven that pulls a lead. If Dardes holds the lead, though, it's even more difficult for Ven to fight his way back in because of the range advantage that Raijin's got there. But there's pressure on both sides, legitimately. Yep. I mean, it's a high kill pressure dual lane for Hurrywin and Zap. Scream not exactly there, but Pele and Hades certainly got it. Curious to see how they elect to play out this one. I think, if anything, the Highland Ravens probably really do wait for that level 5 power spike out of the jungle. Hunbots just feels like a nothing burger until he's got Fear No Evil. But once he has it, large AoE, CC, persistent on-field fear, that's pretty good.
From Mike as well, he goes Chalice of healing. That is not something we see very often from supports, much more often in the Soul Lane. Feels like he wants to be fighting, he wants to get involved.
Yeah, and he knows that he's going to have the opportunity to like get into the face of Zapman. He'll be able to steal away some of that sustain that Hurrywin's affording him. You're not really struggling for mana here, so I think a smart choice. He just wants to put out as much pressure as possible. But fighting into the sustain of Umoja means that you have to be willing to fight for a long time to actually see some of that damage stick. So having a little bit of additional HP to play with could go a long way.
Hurrywin and Zap reprising their dual pressure once again. Zap forced off of the Yola run this time around, though. Both going back to the Freya, he's able to hold on to that safety. But with the pressure that the Highland Ravens had in game number 3, we've seen Zap before. I think yesterday, literally, he played a little bit of the Anhur. Certainly a pick that can bring you a lot of pressure. And with how the Ravens have been focusing on this dual lane, on these purple buff invades, no surprise to see it continue. Scream under some pressure here from Lasbra. Venenu joining the fray, but don't think this will be too big of a fight unless the Dragons try to force something.
No, Scream's way too low now to stick around for that one. Have to resustain with that Bumba's dagger. Next few jungle clears. Lasbra has significant advantage in jungle presence.
Wow!
Vet gets it done on his own. Dardes! I mean, it must be the
Bluestone.
Yeah, it's got to be the Bluestone. I was going to say the tick back from the Pyro class, but that is ridiculous. And here's the thing, we said it earlier, it's a volatile lane. That's an early lead for the Pele to get. She's gonna have like maybe one wave earlier, level 5, could turn things around.
Stun there from Mike. See, they've got a little bit of combo potential if they want to use it. Certainly a more volatile dual lane, given the support ADC matchup that we've seen in the past. But you're right to call it out as volatile in the mid lane, especially.
Dude, no.
Wait.
He's in his head.
Oh my goodness, Dardes. Maybe feeling the mental diff right now. Venenu a level up, and after the legacy game, as you called it on the Scylla, to go back to the Pele to get the first blood, a solo kill, complete, no help onto Dardes. I mean, that's exactly the lead that you want the enemy Pele not to have.
No, agreed. And it's not even that it's just no help. It's like telegraphed no help. Dardes watched Scream get accosted by Lasbra in the jungle.
Oh my
And then
goodness.
Hurrywin's successful where Mike isn't. That is miserable. Supports trade purples, but only Hurrywin steals his away. But as I was saying, that's Dardes knowing that Scream can't be there. Scream had to go back. He was close to He was about a quarter HP. No way he steps up. And Ven says, I don't need him and I don't care. It just makes it happen on his own. Ridiculous individual play from the Pele player. And now, start to stack up that Soul Eater pretty early. You get to hit that power spike much sooner. Dardes has to play cautiously in the lane. I mean, it really could start to get out of control there, assuming Ven can leverage it.
Assuming Ven, and that's a big assumption given some of the slowness we've seen throughout this set. Last game, he certainly was making the rotations, and he was doing it on a Scylla, a pick that you typically consider to be a little bit more late game. I think a big driver there, though, was the setup that he had. Scream having this global pressure last game, Athena as well, piloted by Hurrywin. You get double global pressure, and Ven gets to have a field day. This time, it feels like Ven has to be the one forcing these engagements, at least a little bit more so. But if you're getting started with a solo kill, you're getting started with this type of pressure from Scream as he blinks in, trades the ultimate for a set of beads out of Vode. As soon as you hit level 5, Scream's looking to get involved. Still a good sign for the Ravens.
It is, and the Ravens have a really strong team fight composition. I love how their CC interacts with each other. I love how many places they can burn beads or how many places they can find that lockdown. You're worried about Pillars of Agony, you have to leap out of it. Oh, you leaped into River's Rebuke. Oh, you had Phantom Shell for River's Rebuke. Here's the thing, Fear No Evil, right? There's just so many large AoE, CC, win condition abilities on the Highland Ravens that the only thing you'd really be concerned about is kill secure and burst damage and whether or not they've got it. If Ven can keep pace, continue farming at the speed that he currently is, that's going to come very easily in the mid game. Maybe they struggle a bit with it more in the late game.
A bit of damage on the left-hand side. They get away with the blue buff steal, but Haddix now no dash. I don't know if they want to continue the chase on this blue buff up for the Highland Ravens as well. The Jade Dragons, they just take it. Mika ults for it. Lasbra has ult, but they just lose the blue buff and they don't even try to chase down the kills.
This time around, purple buff trade seems to just be hurting to get aggressive on Clav. Dardes not exactly getting aggressive, instead being aggressed upon, forced back into his own tower and dropped to half HP. Volcanic Lightning doesn't find the most value, but poking down 50%, certainly valuable in of itself. I'd love to see the Jade Dragons try and turn things around because Venenu has been playing very aggressive. He's been playing far up in the lane. I mean, he's got some semblance of safety thanks to Volcanic Lightning. It's essentially just a dash out, but rotations from Lasbra, chase potential with the Vampiric Bat slow, as well as the Raiju. I mean, Dardes sure fell down early, but we're at level parity as of now, and Divine Ruin does interact well into the Soul Eater, has good anti-heal there, good damage output. I don't want to see the Jade Dragons just let go of any potential pressure. We saw it on left there. Mike completely gives up on the purple buff invade and instead dedicates his time to defending his own. But I feel like the Jade Dragons in this composition still have the potential to bring the fight.
I'm interested in this mid lane build, Dardes. You mentioned the Divine Ruin first. We've seen it a little bit. Some people stack, some people go like this double. I mean, maybe he won't go it, but the double flat pen is something that I've seen for maybe a little bit more pressure. Is that where you expect Dardes to end up with this build?
I think the Divine Ruin is just an answer to Soul Eater, as Hurrywin finds himself in trouble here, back towards his own tower. There is no singular lifesteal item that Dardes is going to pick up besides like Pythag's piece maybe that could match the amount of sustain that Soul Eater is giving over towards Ven. So in picking up Divine Ruin, it forces Ven to think a little bit harder about when he wants to poke and whether or not it's going to be a worthwhile trade, because he is just going to lack a little bit for sustain.
Does not feel afraid to fight into the 1v2, and like he may have sounded himself in a 1 versus 3. Jump is down, and River's Rebuke walls are up. The beats get burned, and PBM gets burned down. Vote now the target of 3, and does not have the safety available. All the while, Venenu, he's got to hit the Bastion. Scream takes down Vote, but the trade looking to come through in the middle lane. Oh, a little bit close there, too close for comfort for Lasbra. He's got to go up into the ultimate and be careful.
No.
Scream, no blink available. It'll be a 2-for-1 across the map, but with how much Venenu got done, that's still a scary engagement.
Yeah, I wonder how different that is if Ven decides to switch targets. Like, Dardes is out of range. I understand Ven says, I'm not going to escape here. Odds are incredibly low. Lasbra's already hitting me. But had he decided to either just switch targets and start hitting Laz, or focus wave and disengage, maybe things go a little bit differently, because it felt inconsequential, the damage that he was dealing to the Kamazots, but it was still enough lifesteal and damage that Lasbra felt threatened enough to go into that bat out of hell. So in a world where Ven's focusing him, maybe things are a little bit different.
Yeah, I mean, you certainly see, regardless of focus, the damage that Venenu can put out in an instant with this pick. No surprise, you know, we've seen Pele be dominating the meta here in the first couple of weeks of the Road to Worlds, but I mean, with Venenu and how passive he was in games 1 and 2, it's just a little bit of a surprise. Like, it feels almost like he has flipped the switch, and maybe the Ravens as a whole have flipped that switch and just are playing pressure now, and they're playing into it, they're controlling the map.
Yeah, the Highland Ravens certainly playing with confidence. I mean, you get the confidence of knowing that the Jade Dragons are on set point here. Like, if they lose, it's over. You've got 1 game to play with. You also just have the confidence of going how he had dog walked up previously, and clearly he's playing with all that confidence.
My goodness, finds the 1v2, the engagement on his own. PBM will come through that bounce. He could go in, Scream. Finds the bounce onto Mike, though, and won't charge the ultimate just then. Was not available on that cooldown. But now Vote, he might be the new focus here as the ultimate just now comes up. Well-channeled discretion from Vote to get up there into safety, but I don't know that it will be enough. They will put down the Freya into the grayscale. Lasbra and PBM still on this side of the map, and they're just here to steal the chest, man. Keep their lead rolling.
Yeah, just give me everything you've got, says the Highland Ravens. I don't care if it's not a buff. I don't care if it's a treasure chest that gives me nothing. I will be taking every little bit of farm the Jade Dragons have gotten. This golden experience, I mean, it is accumulated quickly. It's faster than it was in Game 3.
Yep.
The Highland Ravens playing very well around their pressure, and this is without objectives coming into play just yet either. Gold Fury not exactly as easy to knock down for the Ravens as it was in the previous match. They've got similar levels of burn, but secure. Going to be a major question mark for them, but it's not as if the Jade Dragons have got great secure either. Tycho Drums perhaps best on the map. Ooh, Darkness back to base. Clear wave, run down gold. It's not an awful call.
I wonder if that might be the opening there. Irwin at least thinks it's an opening for a gank here. The Impale's off the mark, but Zatman with a 3-level lead. And Scream at level 12. I mean, this is fodder, man, if they want to try and force something. But it's PBM. He's the one jumping in, and look at the rotation. Dardes is going to be here before Venenu gets the jump over the wall, and Irwin locks in the River's Rebuke, the dash out from Dardes, and Venenu finds his target into the jungle and beads get forced.
Right.
Dardes does not get to play the game, and PBM, he answers back with a double kill onto the mid laner. The Jade Dragons, they try to find an answer back, a defense. It is not good enough.
Yeah, the early game pressure from the Highland Ravens. It took them a little while to figure out what the strategy was going to be. Could beat the Jade Dragons in the late game. That was the strat games 1 and 2. The Ravens have developed it. They said the early game's really good, and we're really good at it. And clearly they're right, because this gold is now quickly starting to reach out of control. I believe it was like 18 minutes where we hit 5K previously. We're at 6 now, at 12. I mean, they're speed running the Jade Dragons. And it's going to get worse before it gets better. Pyromancer is becoming an option. They already knocked down the Fury. There's still plenty of towers to collect farm from as well. Every tier 1 still up. Mike's doing his best to stem the bleeding, prevent the Stygian Beacon from going down. It doesn't even seem like the Highland Ravens really care all that much about it. Ben back to base, Scream on the opposite side of the map. We're just being annoying.
They'll get it if they can, I'm sure, but Herwind, I mean, he's not under any threat. In fact, he might kill Dardes if this lasts long enough, but certainly
Ben's back.
With 2 members there. Ben's coming back, though, and Herwind really doesn't want to give this up. I'm not sure he has to, but Ben might call him off, and damage here. Ben was just waiting for the opportunity. He's got no escape now, though. Lasbra, this would be a huge shutdown kill if they could get it in with no beads. He gets pulled back into the damage, but the Riptide is beautiful, and the lifesteal is there. Lasbra finds the shutdown, and the overcommittal gets punished. A killing spree for Zatman to fall for the Jade Dragons and the Highland Ravens. They ultimately get the beacon at the end of the day and trade 2 for 1.
The Jade Dragons say, well, I smell blood in the water. Finally an opportunity. We could fight. Ven, he's low. We can jump on him, but Ven just does too much damage, lives a little too long, and the Jade Dragons forced to leap into the tower, essentially seal their fate there and secure their own deaths. Vote's 4 levels down on Scream. There's really no way he fights into this one.
Yeah, Scream is, they know he's here, to be sure. At least I would think that they do, but that's a huge Fear No Evil onto 2. Vote's down to half HP. Zatman is like, oh, okay, you want to box? You're good? You want to come up and fight me? And he wants to take it. No surprise from a 4-level lead. And this was where Vote was last game, too. Vote, he's just, like, getting focused. He cannot fight up against a Zatman. Artemis versus Olaron, he found himself 4 levels down, split pushing most of the game. This Freya, I mean, it's always going to be a monster when you get to late game. But when you get to late game 10 minutes after the other Hunter gets to late game, I don't know if you get to play the late game.
No, it's going to be a while for Vote. And he even loads into this matchup knowing that he's going to lose pressure. He essentially gives it up with his starter item selection there, Bumba's Dagger as opposed to the Conduit Gem. So he knew it was going to be a struggle. I'm sure he didn't think it was going to be this much of a struggle, though. 4-level deficit against Zatman now. 4 level into the jungle, too. And the Highland Ravens clearly not letting off the gas.
Pyromancer spawning. That's the focus for the Ravens. PBM already down to half HP. I don't know if he can have a steal attempt here if he wants to hold on to his life. In fact, he might not get the option. They'll lose the Pyromancer and they'll lose their support as well. And this lead is quickly getting out of control. They've got a wave for the tier 1 tower. Oni Warriors.
Tier 2. Darda's Zoom.
Not the Oni Warriors. The Oni Fury is
playing like
close
Warriors.
to spawn. They are. I mean, this pressure is impossible to withstand for the Dragons. This is only Darda's here to try to defend a tier 2.
And he's scared.
He can't step up alone. Nika's going to steal the speed buff at the very least, all the way on the backside of the map.
Big.
Lasbra steals some farm as well, but the Dragons, they're just doing what they can to stay in it.
Yeah, Highland Ravens tier 1, 2 taken from the Jade Dragons. Now can reset themselves and just go get ready for the Fury immediately. I think the only thing the Highland Ravens need to do is keep up their pressure. Lasbra, good damage, good beads. This could be an opportunity. Scream's got no lead.
Stuns off the mark from Mike, though. The loop, no! Oh my goodness, Lasbra, he holds on and times the swoops beautifully. Misses the first 2, but it's the last one and gets the trade, and that's a value trade. You'll lose your support for the enemy jungle any day of the week, especially when it's a 5-level difference between them.
I mean, I like the idea from Scream there. He goes into the immediate up-down, predicting that immediate swoop from Lasbra. He's thinking, Lasbra's going to hit me right as soon as I land, so if I do it fast enough, maybe I can avoid that damage. Doesn't even have time to whip his mouse to safety. Instead, up-downs, and as you said, Lasbra patient, waits it out, reads him. Look there. Clean stuff, but the Highland Ravens have simply just done too much up until this point. Scream was not a necessary component of an Oni Fury pull. So Zatman and Hurrywin up to the task. Will knock it down themselves. Go ahead, collect a few more waves. We're waiting on Pyromancer. I mean, Fire Giant even, potentially. I mean, 17 minutes has just been the timer for it in this set, but the Highland Ravens, I think this lead is just so ridiculous. It really is. And I hesitate to say it.
Seriously?
Yeah.
It might be the Highland Ravens game to lose. We might be there now. Like, I'm not sure the Jade Dragons really have a whole lot of control on this one anymore. Like, their hands are simply not on the levers of power.
Yeah, Mike, his hands are off the levers of power. I can say that with a great amount of confidence at that moment in time. 0-6 for
Dude,
the
he's not
enemy
0-ing.
support. What?
0-6.
Is 6 like the last name in that scenario?
Never heard that before?
Nope.
I made it up, I guess.
Ah, okay.
So when you crack that joke to your friends, make sure they know Mifflin made that up.
Mifflin, I don't think they'll know who Mifflin is, but
That's fine. Spread my legend.
spread your dude. The Highland Ravens are trying to spread their legend across the board right now because they are running. It might just be their game to lose. I got to tell you though, with all this pressure, hold that thought, Lasbra. He's got to jump away. With all this pressure,
Yeah.
in this set we've seen 17-minute Fire Giants. They're so late, man. There's like, what are they doing? Why hasn't it been pulled? This is a late FG.
I mean, they don't really have a whole lot of secure, which might be it. It might also be that they are so firmly in control, why leave it to any risk? It might be that they're doing like a little mini game where they're trying to end the game without Fire Giant. Yeah, it could be any number of things. Their clients could be bugged and the Fire Giant textures don't exist anymore, so they just don't walk to that side of the map for fear of it crashing. I can come up with anything you want.
That was a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it could be any number of those reasons.
Oh, it's happening. All right.
It is now happening. A little bit late. 19 minutes is when they're looking at the objective, and I don't think that they. I mean, I think the Jade Dragons, they kind of have to look for a steal here. They don't have much left to give up.
Yeah, Mike needs to get in
Mike's
there.
life is not worth a ton. They're looking for it. They do it! They take it away! Polar Bear Mike blinks in with the stun. Paralyzing spit, 57 damage. He'll lose his life for it.
And he hits the Christ air.
The Jade Dragons, they hold on a little bit longer.
Okay, all right, and that's why. That was reason number one. They didn't want to leave it up to risk, I suppose. The Highland Ravens pull the fire. I mean, we learned this earlier. Pull the fire, don't get it, right? That's what we got in games 1 and 2. Unfortunate for the Ravens. And that is actually a massive swing for the Jade Dragons. Knock down a few towers on left, steal away some jungle farm. Darda is actually now ahead of Ven in levels, I believe, 18 to Ven 17. That's criminal. But also, it's still a 7,000 gold deficit.
Still a 7,000 gold deficit, but Fire Giant
I call it 10K.
on the wastes of 4 out of 5 members here
I'll call it 8K.
of the Jade Dragons. Yeah, you lose one, you go down 10K. So technically, by that logic, Jade Dragons, they're in the lead. They've got the reins on this game.
Yeah. Items are just like so important though, aren't they? Feels like damage items and defense items.
And can't get items with that Fire Giant.
No, that Fire Giant's not helping out a lot. It's giving you HP.
Yep.
And MP5 and a little bit of power. You know, it's not bad. It's not a Spear of Desolation.
Mike is alone. He's just alone in the enemy jungle.
He caught a buzz from that Fire Giant steal. He's feeling himself now.
He's feeling himself now. Certainly, you talk a lot about the sport just giving away his life, but we reach a point in the game. Like, if Venenu kills PBM, he gets no gold.
Yep.
Like,
and Mike knows it.
Yep.
And Mike's gonna abuse it. And
Yep.
here's the thing. Really, it's just Hurry that could kill Mike and get some. Oh, never mind. Nobody can kill Mike and get something.
Nobody gets any gold from that kill onto Mike, and so he's making space. And sure enough, I think the Highland Ravens, they see him. Maybe it's not worth dumping abilities into it, but I mean, if you're the Jade Dragons, you grab the Fire Giant, you certainly slow things down, which is to your benefit. At this point, if you're the Dragons, you want to be in this game as long as possible. You want to get to that point where the levels don't matter.
It's kind of just their
the
MO.
gold doesn't matter. It's been their MO so far this set, but I mean, they lost the 65-minute game. So even then, you mentioned it earlier, even if we get to full-on team fights, the rate, what is...
He's farming. What are you confused about?
Just,
Do you see where the waves are? That's where the golden experience is. Okay, well, I couldn't tell you what that's about. I couldn't exactly tell you about that.
He needed help clearing the wave. That's all it was.
Yeah, he did dump his entire kit in the wave and then tank the tower. That is true. He's a little frazzled. Wouldn't you be?
Yeah, he's a little bit frazzled. Certainly the MO of the Jade Dragons trying to hold on a little bit longer. This next Fire Giant, though, do you see it going a similar way? Do you see the Jade Dragons trying to step up and steal it, or is it a full-on fight, or do they let it go?
I'm thinking Mike is so close to worthless right now that he should.
Okay, worthless is a. Let's just.
We literally broke it down. He's worth nothing to anyone.
That's a big word, man. I don't want to be mean.
It's like 2 syllables.
Okay, it's not literally.
Okay.
Like a large word.
Well, it is like 9 letters. That's pretty long.
Is it really 9?
I didn't
Math
count.
on cast, though. That's nice.
Was that actually 9?
I think
Did you
it is 9,
mental
yeah.
it? Oh my god.
Yeah. That's nice.
Now I'm feeling myself.
Yeah.
Catch me walking into tier 2s and clearing waves at Phoenix. Look, the point I'm trying to make is because Mike is so low level and his respawns are so short and he's so not tanky and does so little damage and he doesn't give over any resources when he dies, and you know, in fewer words, worthless, I think it would be worth his time to go ahead and try for the 1 in 1,050 damage paralyzing spit seal again.
Yeah, I mean, definitely worth his time if he can get into that situation again. But I think the Highland Ravens, they really don't want to leave it up to chance again. They want to find a fight early, and PBM, he wants to do the same thing. 3 sets of beads, I believe, on that one Stygian Torment from the Cerberus.
He's kind of cooking, actually.
That's a lot of value on one ultimate from a level 14 Cerberus, let me tell you. And on the tier 2 siege defense, the Jade Dragons, they have lost the Fire Giant belt around their waist, but Venenu, he's being caught out by Lasbra. Maybe Lasbra's being caught out by Venenu here around the corner. I don't know if Lasbra can really hold on to this one. And the Jade Dragons, they can't hold on to the tier 2 tower. They've got to give it away.
Okay, and Pyromancer, we're not risking it here. We need Mike alive to throw Paralyzing Spit at the Fire Giant, so we'll hold off for just a moment. Runic Bomb, I think, should guarantee they're secure. It's 2,000 true damage in pocket of the Highland Ravens. Mike spotted early, threat identified, and I'm thinking dealt with here.
Yeah, I'm thinking the focus is on to PBM. Gives that man a rampage. So if somebody is going to take away this Fire Giant, somebody has to be the hero for the Jade Dragons if they're going to group up around this one. And it can't be Mike for the next 27 seconds. This one gets picked up though. And the Fire Giant treading slower than a late game team. Only 24 minutes, no EMG on the board quite yet. Still has to be a question mark. Highland Ravens, they're looking for the fight. If anybody steps in, you want to see them step off, you want to see them try and find it out. Venenu, oh my goodness, the pick! And Dardas finds the enemy mid laner. That's the window open. It's going to be another coin flip. The Highland Ravens secure the Fire Giant, but the fight after the fact, it could go either way. Scream, he's been left alone, and they get 2 in trade for the Fire Giant. The chase coming through, though, and the slow is there. Haddock's the only one in range, but with Mike back alive, the Jade Dragons might turn it around.
Now it's Haddox who stepped a little too far forward. Toss back, Raiju doesn't get popped, but it's not needed. Instead, now it's Hatman on the retreat. Slows good, but beats. Able to get him out of there. Fire Giant on 2. That's real ugly. Look, we had some fun earlier, okay? First Fire Giant steal didn't really accomplish a whole lot. Now we're starting to throw some team fights on the Highland Ravens. Now Ven's getting caught out before the engagement. Now Scream is struggling to secure some of these kills, and the Jade Dragons are really starting to stack up in their builds. Dardas approaching 5th or 6th slotted. Gold's starting to get equalized a bit. Fury will go a long way in that regard. I said it was the Highland Ravens game to lose, and it is no longer the case. I think that level of control can no longer be attributed to them. It really is. It's not anybody's game. It's still heavily favored Ravens, but it's much closer than it was previously.
Yeah, much closer is maybe even an understatement. It is right next to each other, it feels like for me. And I think the big difference maker is just how these fights are being played together. For the Ravens, that pick is given away by Venenu, and then right after that, Scream does the same thing, it feels like.
My heart goes out to Scream, though. He is overhand smash, 80% channeled. Dardas isn't even looking at him, and then whips the last Tycho drum, I believe it was the Fear shot, to cancel out overhand smash. Would have just killed Vote if it went all the way through, so tough stuff for Scream. Was it a necessary kill? Not really. I think backing out and just keeping yourself safe would have been much more important there. But we've all played jungle once or twice. You know the bloodlust that brings upon you. So I can't fault Scream for succumbing to the urge, the dark urge, if you would.
I'll tell you what, Haddox has been a little bit slow this game. And I think, not necessarily the one to be in on the engage. That might change here, though, if they try to go in on this Phoenix. Lasbra, he's caught out a little bit in the jungle, has to channel the ultimate just at the threat of that Fear No Evil in the space now created, but Haddox, he gets the kill before he has to leave. BBM gets the trade, but he himself falls to the gray screen. Venenu grabs the support, and the Titan looking to finish off the middle Phoenix. The Jade Dragon's base is exposed, and the Fire Giant gets value for the Highland Ravens.
If it's literally any other leap in the game, Frog, besides Thunder Crash, Dardas lives. But because of how long Thunder Crash's free fire is, Haddox just grabs him. It's so easy there. Great damage output from him. Good target selection, buys space and time for his team. To knock down the Phoenix. Go to show, Fire Giant, not always necessary on everybody. It's just really the ADC that you wanted on, and Zatman still had it. Highland Ravens make use. The Jade Dragons were not up to the defense there. Lasbra losing out his ultimate beforehand. Dardas getting knocked down. Mike, I mean, does what he can, and he does a lot there. I believe it was another 3-man ultimate from PBM, but didn't quite have the damage behind him because Dardas was fighting for his life, and so the Highland Ravens cleanly went out there. So much time left until Fire Giant respawns. I wonder how the Ravens spend their time. Could potentially try and pressure up some waves, push out towards the tier 2. I doubt you have enough time to actually knock down the tier 2 on left, but to get those mini waves a little bit further up could help out a bit later on. Or spend this time warding up, establishing vision around the Fire Giant, head back to base, purchase more wards, and guarantee the victory in the vision battle.
Last time it was the Ravens identifying Mike as the threat. And they take him out early on. Right. Yep, they take him out early on. He's unable to get the steal off, but because of it, arguably, they use so many cooldowns there, and then the Jade Dragons, they fight back. They win the fight, even after losing the Fire Giant. And now, they're set up. This game continues to climb in the minutes. This is, I mean, if this is a steal away, if this is a Jade Dragons fight win, everything feels like it kind of becomes even.
I mean, if the J-Dragons clean win the team fight, it's game. And the J-Dragons will just walk it down as well. I mean, the odds of that happening is still incredibly low. I mean, look at the itemization there across the board. Darda is still sitting on recipe, as are PBM and Vote. And Vote really struggling this game. He had the game taken out of his hands pretty early on, so I'll give him a little bit of slack. A little bit of slack's not enough to account for 4,700 damage, but I'll give him a little bit.
That is 5K player damage, just about, which is a bit rough.
Okay, pull up that healing again, Doug. Help me out here. Has Hurrywin removed Vote from the game? Yeah, Hurrywin's got more healing than Vote has damage.
Yeah, I mean it's tough to be a Freya that gets focused a little bit early game now, potentially in the best spot that he has been in all game. They're
This has
looking
got
for
to
a
be the
fight.
case.
This has got to be the case. They're looking for the fight here. Hurrywin in position for it. 5-man here. Let's hop into a listen-in with the Highland Ravens as they're looking to take the Fire Giant. Huge picks for the Highland Ravens. You hear it there. They call the go button, and Mike is the one that gets caught out in between the pillar and a rock. They stick around. They might try to push this to the end.
I mean, Zadman calls it. He said, we can end here. That's clearly the call. Nika and Lazara, they've got a tall task ahead of them.
They've got to do enough with Fire Minions in 5. Frenzy gets popped. The damage, it's on Anika first and the Titans second. The Highland Ravens, they take it 3-1.
And early game pressure looks pretty good. Ven finds it early on and rolls with it entirely through. I mean, the J-Dragons really did not get too many opportunities to play here. They're gifted one in the Fire Giant, but that only extends this game by another 5 or so minutes. Clearly, the Highland Ravens playing with confidence towards the tail end of this set. It is worth noting there's probably a good deal of player fatigue there after the first 2 games.
Sure.